trust by faith and you will do for us.
Yes.
First of all, we pray that you forgive me of my sins, every thought, every deed, every act that permeated in my heart and mind. Thank you for the preaching moment.
Thank you, God.
Pray that you stand up in my feeble body. Give me strength to preach your word. Have your own way. Lord, have your own way. You are the potter. We're the clay. Mold and make us after your will while we're waiting, yielding, and still. Give me preaching power for your name's sake. We love you. We praise you. We thank you for this preaching place.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for this pastor.
Thank you, Lord.
Dr. Robinson, bless he and give him strength.
Jesus.
Give his body, oh God, strength and capacity today and through the course of this week. He's your servant. He belongs to you. Thank you for allowing him to pour out unto you to minister to these your people. Bless him, Lord. In the name of Jesus we pray. The people of God said amen. Now, Dr. Robinson set all those keys. B flat, C flat, D, E, G. And I want to go somewhere, Pastor, but I don't know which key. Pastor Early, so whatever key it is, brother musician, if you can just catch me, I certainly appreciate it. God bless your heart. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Oh God has smiled on me. Sure been good to me. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Oh, God has smiled on me. Sure been good to me. Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No more I know, and I withdraw yourself from me. Somebody ought to tell me where would I be? Help me. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Oh, God has smiled on me. Sure been good to me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved wish I had a witness. He's been real good, real good, real good, real good. Come on, come on, come on. He's been good. Do I have a witness in here? He's been real, 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 real. Yesterday on television watching something all for the Bible. You can shout for the Lord and just say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, he's good. Do I have to wait? Come on, make me get happier. Come on, come on, come on. You ought to just step out and do your names and just tell your neighbor. Y'all know y'all used to names. Come on, come on. You ain't forgot how to get your step on. Tell your neighbor. I wish I had the witness up in here. Come on. I'm just happy all by myself. Come on, get it on. Come on, get it on. He's been good to me. I said he's been good to me. You don't know like I know. Some of y'all look like y'all stuck up, but he's been good to me. Oh, praise his name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. This powerful might, what insufficiency in my heart to sway to make me give the light of my true sight. Which hast thou this becoming of things ill, that in the very refuge of thy deeds there is still such strength and warranters of skill, that in my mind thy best exceeds all worse. All he was saying, Pastor, it's just good to be here. And I'm grateful and thankful and humble to your pastor. Now, one thing about this church, you're not suffering from preaching. God knows you've got a preacher. You've got a pastor in this place. So it's known all across the country and all over this state. And if you're running for something, and certainly running for state president, anything, you got to stop by here first. Say amen. And get past the big hands on you. He's got to come to this place. Preacher, excellent prophet, pulpit, great theologian, tall temple of a preacher. Say amen. And so it's a delight to be here. And everybody know that Dr. Gerard Robinson is a preacher. Say amen. May the Lord bless you, keep you. I'm grateful for my lovely wife who's here. If she just wave a hand, you'll get that all the way out. Praise the Lord. God bless you. God keep you.
Yes, sir.
Would you turn with me to Luke chapter 9? Luke chapter 9. There's a verse there, verse 48, verse 46. It says these words, Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. And Jesus, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child and set him by him. And he said unto them, Whosoever shall receive this child in my name receiveth me. And whosoever shall receive me receiveth him that sent me. For he that is least among you all, the same shall be great. And John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he followed not with us. And Jesus said unto him, Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. You may be seated.
All right.
And John answered and said unto him, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name.
Yeah, man.
And we forbade him because he followed not with us.
Yeah.
And Jesus said unto him, Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. I want to talk about wrong focus.
Wrong focus.
Wrong focus. Brother Pastor, I think that you would agree with me that it's very important that we stay focused. Life is too short, and God is too good for us to live life hampered by distractions. Distractions. They can pose severe problems on your current path and minimize your own potential if you choose to park. But Pastor, I think we would all agree
Yes, sir.
that it's very important that we stay focused. I want to tell you real quick that this is an interesting passage of scripture in the latter of this text. In fact, if you've not read it, and if you have, you notice that it's not long that Jesus was preparing to return to Jerusalem in preparation of his death. And on a few mere accounts, Jesus was having to chastise his own disciples for few good reasons. In fact, early on, it was noted that a father brought his son to Jesus' disciples. In fact, this father said to Jesus that my only son, he has an evil spirit that keeps seizing him. It makes him scream. It throws him into convulsion so that he foams at the mouth. It's always hitting and it's always injuring him. And the fact is, he said that it ever hardly leaves him alone. And here's what the father said to Jesus. He said to Jesus, Pastor, with a sad contemplation, he said that I bid your disciples to cast the spirit out of him, but they couldn't do it. And so Jesus here, Reverend Early, he called his disciples stubborn. But not only did he call them stubborn, but he also called them a faithless people. Jesus said unto them, how long? Y'all read this passage, haven't you? He says, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Jesus said, bring him here to me. And the Bible said that the boy came forward. The demon knocked him to the ground, threw him into a violent but Jesus rebuked the evil spirit. He healed the boy and then he gave him back to his father. And the Bible said that while everyone was marveling over all of the wonderful things that Jesus had done, notice here Jesus said to his disciples, he said, listen to me, listen and remember what I said. Jesus said that the Son of Man is going to be betrayed, but they really didn't know what that meant. In fact, its significance was hidden from them so that they could not understand it, and they were literally afraid to ask him about it. I want to tell you that's the first chastisement that Jesus gave them. But now the second one came when the disciples got into an argument about which of them should be the greatest. So he knew their thoughts and he brought this little child to his side. He said these words unto them. He said, anyone. Y'all read this passage, haven't you? Anyone who welcomes a little child like this one on my behalf welcomes me. And anyone who welcomes me welcomes my Father who sent me. Jesus said, whoever is least among you is the greatest. I've got to pop here to tell you that Jesus here, he measured greatness by humility and servanthood and not by seniority or sensationalism. Jesus said, whoever is least among you is the greatest. And I've come to tell you right here, seemingly out of nowhere, if you have read this passage, it seemed really out of nowhere that this passage literally seems to be out of sync with the previous discussion, because John, in fact, it appears, Pastor, that John seems to throw a loop into the discussion. In fact, if you read this passage, John makes us wonder if he were really paying attention, because John said these words. He says, Master, we saw. He said, we saw one casting out devils in your name, and we forbid him because he followed not with us. Now, notice here, right here, there lie the hang up. And wherever there is a hang up, there is a mess up. Y'all talk to me up in here. I mean, notice from this passage, because this brother was doing a good work in casting out devils, and what he had done, he was doing in the name of Christ. And the truth of the matter was that they viewed this brother with the wrong focus. Y'all looking at me mighty funny. I gotta tell you, it's in my Bible and it's in yours if you didn't tear it out. I hear what you're saying. You're saying, preacher, how did they view him with the wrong focus? Well, first of all, they did so with a selfish attempt. Tell your neighbor it was with a selfish attempt. Y'all looking at me mighty funny. I gotta tell you, it's in my Bible and it's in yours if you didn't tear it out. I mean, notice it. Notice John said, Master, we saw. John said, we saw somebody else other than us. John, in essence, said, we saw a brother. I'm getting happy all by myself. And sometimes, my brothers and sisters, we have to be careful in our thoughts not to think that we are the only ones whom God can use. Y'all gonna talk to me up in here. I mean, we have to be careful not to think that we are it. Because in case you don't know it, can I tell y'all this morning that somebody else other than you loves Jesus too? Somebody else other than you know how to sing yes. Y'all gonna talk to me up in here. Jesus loves me. No, for the Bible tells me so. No meaning in a harm, but somebody else other than us know how to preach about Christ's death, his burial, and his resurrection. We might be a good preacher, but let us not take it for granted that we are the only good preachers that God has to give. Don't let that go to your head, because God has somebody else. Having got a witness here, he has somebody else besides you and I who know how to turn a text inside out, bring it where you can get it, give you 3 points, a poem, and a shouting close. So don't take it for granted that you are the only one who can sing, that you're the only one who can speak, that you're the only one who can pray. Because if you just take a little time, I wish I had some help up in here, and if you look around, you'll see some other folk who can preach, pray, sing, and shout you sure enough crazy. Look at the text. I'm not making it up. It's in my Bible and it's in yours if he didn't tear it out. They viewed this brother with the wrong focus. First of all, it was with a selfish attempt. We would have to admit, Pastor, that the disciples had the wrong focus, not only because they viewed this brother with a selfish attempt, but secondly because they conjured up a shameful disposition. Y'all looking at me mighty funny. I got to tell you, it's in my Bible and it's in yours if he didn't tear it out. I mean, look in the text. We have it on record. If you don't believe me, then listen to what John said. Pastor Robinson, John said, Master, we saw. He said, we saw one casting out devils in your name. Now let me just ask y'all this $1 million question. What's wrong with that? I mean, the question, what's wrong with that? Because isn't it a wonderful thing to discover that God has some other folk? Y'all don't talk to me up in here, who are doing the right thing in his name. Don't get me wrong, because you don't have to go very far to find people doing the wrong things in his name, to his name, with his name, and because of his name. That, Pastor, you know, and I know there are some preachers that do everything in his name, and the things that they do in his name embarrasses his name. When I turn on the television, I see all of these prosperity preachers preaching about health and wealth, and that God wants you to be healthy, wealthy, and rich. And they'll tell you that is in his name. That if you send them a seed offering of $100, then you will become healthy, wealthy, and rich also. They will tell you that is in his name. In fact, if you're sick, then it's of the devil. Y'all remember Dr. Fred Price? In fact, he used to preach that until one day his own wife came down with cancer. About 25 years ago, some of you may remember Oral Roberts. I wish I had some help up in here. Oral Roberts said in his name that if he didn't raise $8 million in a few months, that he would die. I know you know Benny Hinn. Y'all come on and talk to me up in here. Benny Hinn comes on television every week wearing his white suit, his white shirt, his white tie, his white shoes, and his white hair. And his name, he professes healing on folk who are crippled, blind, and terminally ill. But in Jesus' name, he couldn't heal his own marriage of more than 30 years and keep it out of divorce court. I'm just trying to tell somebody up in here, that if you got that kind of power to heal, seem like you can do a little healing at home sometime. Well, come on and talk to me up in here. And I don't understand, Dr. Robinson, I don't understand folk who say that they can raise the dead in other folks' lives, but they can't raise what's dead in their own lives. If I had a witness here, we better be careful of how we use his name. Have they got some help up in here? Look at the text. It's in my Bible and it's in yours if you didn't tear it out. John said, Master, we saw. John said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name. Look at what he did. He said it as though they were the only ones with permission to use his name. And how quick that they had forgotten that a man right here in the text brought his son to be healed by them in his name, and they wouldn't use his name to heal him. They had permission and the power, but the problem was that they didn't have the faith pedal to persevere because they were hungry for prestige and popularity. But when they saw, I'm getting happy all by myself, when they saw somebody else, I wish I had some help up in here, when they saw somebody else doing some things in his name, can I tell you what? They had the litigated galls, they had the nerves. I wish I had a witness here. They had the nerves to profess it like this brother was out of his place. But if we're honest, and I'm almost through here, Pastor, some of us are just like that. Have they got a witness up in here? I mean, you know, there are things that we won't do. There are things that we know we ought to be doing. There are things we won't do, but by the time we look around, I'm getting happy all by myself, and we see somebody else doing it, then here's what we'll do, Pastor Robinson. We will put them down. You've heard that story about those 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, anybody. Y'all come on and talk to me, somebody. I mean, it was said that that was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got upset about it because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it, and it ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody would do what anybody could have done. I wish I had some help up in here. And the disciples didn't do what they were capable of doing, which was to cast this devil out of this man's only boy. But look at the text. But when they saw, I'm getting happy all by myself. When they saw another brother, somebody ought to help me up in here, doing what they were supposed to be doing. Can I tell you, they didn't go and run and tell Mark. They didn't go tell Luke. I wish I had some help up in here. They didn't tell Matthew, but they had the nerve to run and tell Jesus. You see, some people put us in shameful dispositions when we see them doing what we ought to be doing. But John came back and told Jesus, Master, we saw. John said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name. And we tried to forbid him. I wish I had a witness here, because he's not with us. But notice here, they have the wrong focus toward this brother. Well, preacher, how do you know? First of all, because it was with a selfish intent. Let the church say selfish intent. They had the wrong focus, not only because it was with a selfish attempt, but also because they conjured up a shameful disposition. Tell somebody, shameful disposition. Now, Pastor, I got to tell you, I'm through. I said I'm through. And one thing about a black Baptist preacher, he says he's through 5 times before he's through. But I'm through now. My soul is happy. They have the wrong focus because it was with a selfish attempt. They have the wrong focus because they conjured up a shameful disposition. But then finally they had the wrong focus because they expressed a sad posture. Y'all looking at me mighty funny. I gotta tell you, it's in my Bible and it's in yours if he didn't tear it out. I mean, notice here, John said to Jesus, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name. And we tried to forbid him because he followed not with us. Notice what John said. John, in essence, said Jesus, Master, we saw someone using your name to cast out demons. We tried to stop him because he's not in our group. And if you don't mind, let me put a little Negro Baptist with him. I wish I had some help up in here. We tried to stop him because he isn't in our clique. Y'all getting quiet over tonight. I mean, you know, he's not a part of our clan. He's not in our posse. He's not in our hell group. I'm sorry, our cell group. Y'all come on and talk to me up in here. He doesn't hang out with us. He doesn't hang out with us. And I have to admit to y'all this morning, that is a sad posture. I'm not making it up. It's in my Bible and it's in yours if he didn't tear it out. Listen to John. John said, Master, we saw. John said, we saw one casting out devils in your name, and they tried to stop him because he wasn't in their group. So Pastor Robinson, in essence, John was saying that this brother's work really wasn't authentic. It wasn't authentic, first of all, because number one, they didn't sanction it. Number two, because they didn't sign off on it. Number three, because they didn't send him out, so they decided that they would try to squeeze him out. But I thank God, I'm getting happy all by myself. I said, I thank God that there's some folk who don't give up that easy. I thank God that there's some folk who don't let church folk run them off. I thank God that there's some folk who don't care if you don't get any credit, as long as God gets all the credit. I thank God that there's some folk who can't be discouraged by devious acts and by our devilish ways. And I thank God that there's some folk who are not working to be recognized by men. And I thank God that there's still some folk who don't have to be in our little cliques in order to help to advance the cause of our Christ. I'm not making it up. It's in my Bible and it's in yours. If you didn't tear it out, check out what John said. John said, Master, John said, we tried to stop him because he isn't in our group. And because he followed not with us. Notice here, he's not, Pastor Robinson, he's not in our fraternity. He's not in our social club. He's not in our convention. He's not a part of our, committee. And he certainly isn't a member of us church. Y'all come on and talk to me up in here. So self-conceit gave them this sad posture, so as to say that no man can be a soldier unless he wears their uniform and unless he fights in their regiment. And they've been ready to say of every Christian who does not see everything with their eyes, like the disciples did say, forbid him, for he followed not with us. But then look right there in verse 49. In verse 49, verse 49 might be filled with a sad posture. But I thank God that after verse 49, I'm getting happy all by myself. Verse 49, sad posture. But after verse 49 comes verse 50, which means after a sad posture comes saving grace. Y'all talk to me up in here, because y'all got to check out. I told you what John said, but can I tell y'all what Jesus said? Y'all don't talk to me up in here. Jesus said unto John, forbid him not. You said forbid him, but Jesus says forbid him not. You want to turn him away because he doesn't fit your standards. He doesn't have your approval. And because he's not one of your homies. But Jesus said to John, forbid him not. For that he that is not against us is for us. I'm closing for real this time. Pastor Robinson, what is really interesting about this passage is that the fact that Jesus, he neither praised nor blamed this brother for following this independent course and not working with his disciples. Notice that Jesus declared that he that must not be forbidden, and that those who work the same kind of work that we do should not be regarded as enemies, but they ought to be regarded as allies. Because Jesus said, he that is not against us, y'all gonna talk to me up in here, is for us. Because often we are suspicious. We're suspicious of people who are different from us. But can I tell y'all something? Different doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be difficult. And different doesn't mean that we have to be divided. But what this passage truly tells us is that we have to be careful about who we might label as our enemy. Somebody ought to help me up in here. Tell your neighbor, you got to be careful about who you might label as your enemy. Because sometimes we might be viewing them with the wrong focus, and we end up shooting them down. C.S. Lewis says it this way. C.S. Lewis says that the Christian army is the only army that shoots her wounded. Y'all gonna talk to me up in here? And they're not, I wish I had a witness here. Notice it, he says that they're not against us, but they are for us. Can I tell you, they may not live where you live. They may not drive what you drive. They may not work where you work. They may not shop where you shop. They may not have, somebody gonna help me here, what you have. But if they're doing some things in his name, don't you try to stop them. Come on and talk to me up in here. If they're not on your contact list, don't try to forbid them, for Jesus says, he that is not against us is for us. We have to be mindful that even if they're not in your group, and if they're not in your circle, they may even be strangers. But I got a hot word off of heaven's press. And Hebrews 11:3 says this, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. Tell somebody, everybody is not your enemy. Tell somebody, everybody is not talking about you. Tell somebody, everybody, I wish I had the witness here, because they're not on your Facebook page, because they're not one of your email pals, because they don't text you back, it doesn't mean that they're not on the Lord's side, because they might be different have to be divided. Because if the Lord is satisfied, I'm getting happy all by myself. If the Lord is satisfied, then we ought to be satisfied. If the Lord is pleased, then what are we complaining about? And so don't you spend your time talking about what other folk are doing in Jesus' name. But tell your neighbor, make sure that you're doing some things in his name that will bring glory to his name. Tell your neighbor, whatever you do, I'm out of here now. Whatever you do, don't mess up his name, because his name is the fountain of our joy. Tell somebody his name is the bread of our table. Tell somebody his name is the song of our night, the foundation of our building. Tell somebody his name is the source of our comfort, the rock of our